Right, picture 4, part 2. Right, where was I? Yes, about the toilet. Anyway, this is what I put. I would hate going so much to the outside toilet that we used to have a bucket by the sink. This was named the Weeby bucket. How bad does it get? And even though I would often end up slipping into it when I was sat on it, it still was a better option than going out to the toilet. I'd rather use it than have a go outside. We also had one in the bedroom as well for in the middle of the night, so we didn't have to walk downstairs. And I remember once it was absolutely full, and I was bursting to go loo one morning, me and my brother. And it must have been a summer because it was about 4 or 5 in the morning, something like that. Because I don't know, for some reason we never went downstairs. We weren't really allowed to go downstairs, or we didn't think we could go downstairs unless Mum and Dad were up, and obviously they used to get up at normal time. And anyway, this one used to be just under the window in the bedroom. Anyway, one morning it was really full, and we were dying to go loose. So me and my brother opened the bedroom window and poured some of it out. Now most of this ended up running down the kitchen dining room window. Luckily, it had dried up before my mum and my dad had got up. And although I think I've told them about this story, if I haven't, then they're going to know about it when they read this. Anyway, it's just bizarre really, because it's just one thing that happened. Anyway, next door to us on the right was a family called the Keoghs. They had, I think, 3 kids. We used to often play with them. Like in the summer, we had no tin bath, and we used to drag it outside onto the onto the concrete outside and fill it up with water. And I'd spend hours in there, absolute hours, just playing with the boats and everything, and in the hot sunshine. And as the sun used to go down, the sun used to creep further in the garden. I used to drag it along the concrete and along the grass as well too, as at the canal wall. Or every now and again we'd put it next door when all the kids would play in it. And I always remember that the kids never played outside much. They had a big blue door, has a glass in it and a window, and they never did. And I used to keep nipping out and see when I knew if the door was open, the kids were playing outside, and we could all play. On the left-hand side to us was a lady called Mrs. Lomas and her son, I think it was called Leslie. Apparently he was a real mummy's boy, from what I can remember. But what I do remember about their house is they had a huge colour TV which had doors on the front. And sometimes when we came home from school and there was nobody in, she would give us like bread and dripping and let us sit on a step. And if we were really good, she'd let us come in and watch TV. And that was a colour TV, because that's something we never really had, apart from Christmas. We used to have it for about 3 weeks. Anyway, at the opposite end of the corner on the right-hand side was an old lady called Winnie. And I never knew her second name, but she was a lovely lady. But she was built like a brick house. Yeah, that's a better word. And she worked in the foundry as well. And she would always have her door open, which we could go in any time and see her. And she would sit in a big old chair on the back wall. She always wore a cleaning smock and would sit and smoke woodbines. Apparently she worked the cranes down in the, I think it was Firth Brown Brothers at the bottom. She'd actually sit and work the cranes, funnily enough. Anyway, where was that? Yeah, we would go in and give her swizzles, which was like a fizzy sweet. And she had no teeth, and she would line them up on the arm of the chair, and it was fun to watch her eat them because she had no teeth. And they all used to fizzle out of her mouth. We used to find it amazing for some reason. And her hair was always straight combed to the sides and held with a slide. I think it was a slide. And when we used to go in, when Top of the Pops we'd go in for some reason and watch kind of Top of the Pops in her house. And she used to sit there like ranting and raving at the TV, and she'd complain about Gary Glitter and Alvin Stardust, saying that it was nowt but noise. And because we didn't have a bath, we were allowed to use hers. This is what I've written. We had to go through one of the bedrooms and down a step into a lino-floored room. Like most of the houses around, carpets were few. Most bathrooms and bedrooms had only a square in the middle or a rug, something to put your feet on when you got out of bed or out of the bath. The room had an old sink with taps that looked like they had tiny fingers for the taps, and you always had that little like brown stain down the porcelain where the water had continuously dripped. And situated in the middle of the room was a huge deep cast iron bath with white feet which looked like they had oyster shells on them. When I sat in it, I could just see over the top, and the taps were huge and long. I used to try and lay there and try and prop myself up at the side of the baths and see how long I could hold myself there and shove my big toe up the tap, wondering if it'd get stuck. Don't ask me why. If you were in it for more than about 15 minutes, she'd come to the bottom of the stairs as well, and she'd shout up the stairs at you. Bath times were mainly limited to Sundays. On other days we had to bath in the sink. Outside bogs and bath sinks. And it's just had to sit on the draining board. This used to be really embarrassing since the sink was right next to the window. Not that it should have mattered, nobody ever really walked through the yard. Later my dad built a bath right underneath the window, but I don't remember ever using it. Our house was straight 2 rooms, downstairs and upstairs, and with stairs in the middle. 2 rooms upstairs and an attic. The first room was a kitchen dining room, the kitchen pot being a sink and a cooker, tucked into a small alcove by the window. Next to it was the fireplace with a tiled hearth. In the summer when we came home at night we would lift the hearth rug and watch for silverfish. Does anybody remember silverfish? And little wriggly things that used to be underneath the carpet and the flagstones in front of the hearth? I think there's only me that remembers them. Let me know if you do. And every time we used to lift it up, they tried to get away from the light. Next to this was cupboards split in the middle. The bottom one was our toy cupboard. The 2 doors opened outwards. A shelf in the middle separated our toys from other things like shoe polish, etc. The top part of the cupboard was for plates. Next to the cupboards was the cellar door. We kept the food in there because it was cool, and a bucket of coal and firelighters, usual stuff. To the left of the coal stone steps took you down into the cellar where the coal was. That Gordon tools and an old push scooter with a broken wheel. I always remember that. I had a push scooter down there. I don't think I ever used it. I think I broke it years and years ago. Must have been when I was little. But I always used to see if I could still go around on it. Anyway, that's all I can remember in the cellar. I didn't go down there very often. Too many bloody spiders for my liking. Right, that's part 2. Wait for part 3.